Lindsay. How are you today?
Good. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to
Lindsay.
meet you. Let's get started.
So Clark, why don't you start out by telling me what brings you in today? What are you having problems with?
Well, lately I've just been kind of made aware. I've been in a relationship for a few years, and going through everything that we're going through, and everything that I've been through, I just have this incessant need to clean. And yeah, it's just very disturbing. I mean, my girlfriend's pointed it out to me a couple times, and I think that she's a little concerned at the fact that I have to pull a vacuum cleaner out every time somebody walks through the living room. So,
Okay. So you feel like that just started within the last few months, or has that been going on for some time?
I'd say probably over the past 6 months.
6 months. So would you say you do it more frequently than you did 6 months ago? Less frequently? About the same?
I would say that it's definitely more frequently than what it was.
Okay.
You know, it started out, I mean, you know, it was just little things. It was, you know, I'd see something on the floor and, you know, I'd have to pull the vacuum cleaner out. And then it got to the point where it was like, I had to see sweeper tracks. Then it got to the point where if I saw a footprint in those sweeper tracks, I had to, I had to vacuum.
Okay. All right. And so would you say that, how much time during a regular day do you usually spend vacuuming?
Oh. Well, I've got it down to kind of a science. I mean, I know which areas of the room to hit at this point.
Okay.
So, yeah, I know exactly the pattern. So, I can usually get my living room done in, I mean, it may take me 2.5 minutes. However, as soon as I get up off the couch, and I say I walk and I go and get something to drink, I come back and I sit down on my couch. Before I sit down on the couch, before I can actually relax, I have to vacuum.
Okay. So you do it repeatedly throughout the day?
Oh yeah.
About how many times a day would you say, on average?
Well, I mean, you know, obviously I work, I stay gainfully employed, so, you know, but the time that I get home, and between that time and the time that I go to bed, I would say it's probably at least 10 times.
Okay. Is there anything else that you feel like you've been doing that you feel like you just need to do it? Or you feel like it's something that takes away from normal everyday activities?
My kitchen sink. It's got to be spotless.
Okay. Are you, I thought you had mentioned on the phone something about washing your hands. Is that something that has been a problem for you?
Yeah, like I wash my hands quite a bit.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I don't know if you can see, but yeah,
Okay.
it's a pretty.
And so what do you think started all of this? When do you think that you started feeling the need to control the cleanliness of your hands, the carpet, the sink?
I think a lot of it was just the fact that I spent a lot of time in the hospital over the past 3 years. And, you know, it's just dirty. I feel that it's dirty.
Okay.
There's all this stuff. There's all these germs. There's all this, and I'm not sure that I'm not sure that, I don't wanna bring that home, you know, I mean,
Why are you spending so much time at the hospital, or why were you?
my daughter, came down with leukemia, and she was diagnosed with leukemia, and, you know, we've spent a lot of time in and out of the hospital, sleeping at the hospital, you know, and just that smell, I don't know, and it's just, it's, I know that hospitals are supposed to be clean, but I don't think they are. I don't wanna bring that home. I don't wanna bring any of that home to my other kids, you know, I mean,
Yes. Okay, so Clark, I think I've gotten a little bit of information from you, and it's sounding to me like, well, we first of all need to do an intake form so I can get to know a little bit more about you. I see that you filled some of it out. If I'll kind of read it, and if I have a question, maybe you can answer it for me.
yes ma'am.
I see that you have 4 children, and that you are 39 years old.
I have 3 actually, but
3, okay. Did you have 4 then, or?
yes ma'am.
Okay, and what?
My oldest daughter passed away.
Okay, and is that? Okay, and how long ago was that?
About 6 months ago.
Okay. Would you say these symptoms that you were talking about have gotten worse or better or the same? I know you said that the vacuuming has gotten a little worse. The other one's gotten a little worse
I think everything's gotten worse.
as far as trying to control things. Okay, okay, I appreciate that. And you have never been to see a counselor before, okay? And it doesn't look like you take any sort of medication. And your physical health is pretty good right now? You don't have any major
No,
illnesses?
I feel, I mean, physically, I feel pretty good. I mean, I think, you know, I get headaches quite a bit. I mean, some muscle tension and you know, some back pain, stuff like that.
Okay.
But I would say, you know, overall, I mean, I'm not gonna go out and do a, you know, a 5K or anything, but I feel pretty good about myself.
And it looks like you have some disturbances with sleep. Or, I'm so sorry, you have problems with sleep. Did you sleep too much, too little? Tell me a little bit about that.
Ugh, well, I don't think, I don't feel like I'm sleeping that well. I feel like I'm just up all the time. You know, I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up. I'll go to sleep and then wake up again.
Okay.
And then I could go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning
Mm-hmm.
and I'm up by 5.
Okay.
And
And you don't feel rested. You don't feel like it was good sleep at all.
I don't feel like it was good sleep.
Okay. And I see you exercise about 5 times a week, about 45 minutes to an hour or so. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
You're doing good with eating, it looks like. No issues there. No weight loss. You regularly use alcohol, so about 2 to 3 drinks a day. Is that right?
No, I mean, I mean, the question was, in a typical month, how often do I have 4 or more drinks?
Oh, I see. Okay.
And I would say, I mean, do I have 4 or more drinks? Yeah, that's probably 2 or 3 times a month. But
Gotcha.
I'm a regular drinker. I probably have, you know, 2 to 3
Okay.
a day,
Great.
or you know, every other
And
day.
drug use doesn't look like that is a problem. And suicidal thoughts, you've had them, but it says on here not recently, but you've had them in the past. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think, you know, obviously, you know, there's certain times in our lives that I think that we all kind of get down to kind of a low point.
Definitely. But you don't, do you feel that way now? Do you feel suicidal right now?
No, I don't feel suicidal now.
Okay, great. Okay. Well, a relationship in the past year. As you mentioned, your daughter has passed away. You've been depressed, which is understandable. You've never had wild mood swings, no rapid speech, extreme anxiety. Would you say a lot of this anxiety you feel, or do you feel anxiety when you are feeling these issues with your hands and the carpet and the sink?
Yeah, it's
Anxiety is very high.
it's just insane. I mean, I'll say this. I mean, it's caused problems with me and my girlfriend in the sense that I don't want to. If she walks through the room, it stresses me out. I mean, it really just puts me on edge.
Until you vacuum
And
and, then you
it's
feel better?
yeah, and it's not even just it's not just an emotional thing. I mean, it's a physical feeling. I can feel it just welling up inside me.
Okay.
So
Okay. All right. So that explains the extreme anxiety. You have phobias. Your phobias are some cleanliness issues, correct?
Yeah,
The germs and things. Is that?
I don't want yuckiness in my house.
All right. And you discussed you do have some issues as far as pain. It says body complaints. You said yes. That's referring to the pain that you feel in your muscles and things. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's yeah. I wouldn't say. I mean.
And repetitive behaviors. You definitely have. Okay. All right. No suicide attempts. You do have a job. You're currently working. So great. You consider yourself religious. Do you attend church or?
I go to Red Rocks Church.
Okay, great. And you feel like you have a pretty strong relationship with God?
I feel like I feel, I think that's kind of a relative thing. I feel like I'm working towards a better relationship with God, but I think that's something that we all need to do. Is, I think we're constantly working and constantly developing our relationship and furthering our relationship with the Lord. So.
Great. No other sort of difficult family member issues, which is great. You like by yourself. You have a great sense of humor. That's awesome. I love that. So, Clark, it sounds to me as sounding like you possibly have obsessive compulsive disorder. Have you heard of that before?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and maybe people have told you that, I'm not sure. But I would just like to go over a quiz that we use sometimes to kind of, won't definitely tell that you are or are not. It will help us to get a better
Is it
idea.
a quiz or, assessment or?
Yeah, it's just an
Okay.
assessment. It's just,
Alright.
so I'm just basically going to ask you some questions, and if you could just, tell me yes or no if you feel like you need to elaborate on a couple of them, that would be fine. Have you been bothered by unpleasant thoughts or images that repeatedly enter your mind, such as, number 1, concerns with contamination or acquiring a serious illness?
Yeah. All the time.
Okay.
Definitely.
Number 2, do you have an over-concern with keeping objects in perfect order or arranged exactly?
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of goes along with the carpet thing.
The
I think,
carpet,
and the sink. Okay.
and the sink, and my cabinets. Everything's just.
Needs to be in order. And if it's out of order, it just stresses you out and you have to fix it. Is that kind of how you feel?
It really does. And I could empty a cabinet.
Gotcha.
And it's not. I'm not saying that. And it could be one can's out of place, and I have to rearrange the entire thing.
Understand? Okay.
So,
And then number 3 is, do you have images of death or other horrible events?
no, I wouldn't say that I have.
Okay.
I wouldn't. Obviously the loss of my daughter was very, very difficult. And I've had a hard time dealing with it, but I wouldn't say that I had images of death.
Okay. And then, do you have any personally unacceptable religious or sexual thoughts?
No, I don't think.
Okay.
I wouldn't say so.
And have you worried about terrible things happening, such as fire, burglary, or flooding the house?
Oh, no, not at all.
Accidentally hitting a person or a pedestrian with your car or letting it roll down the hill?
No.
Okay. Do you have, you ever worry about spreading an illness?
Oh, yes. I mean, and that's exactly why I don't. No, I've got. That's why I have to keep everything clean. I mean, I just can't stand it. You know, I don't like it because, you know, it's just, I don't want to have to worry about somebody else. I mean, it's just been.
Okay. And do you ever have concerns
Sorry.
regarding, oh no, it's fine, losing something valuable?
No, I wouldn't say so. No.
Harm coming to a loved one because you weren't careful enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
What could I have done to prevent this? You know.
Your daughter, you're referring to your daughter? Okay. That's understandable. All right, and so, have you worried about acting on an unwanted and senseless urge or impulse, such as physically harming a loved one, pushing a stranger in front of a bus, steering your car into oncoming traffic, inappropriate sexual contact, or poisoning dinner guests?
Well, I'm not going to say that, you know, I haven't thought about pushing a stranger in front of a bus, but no, I would never, I wouldn't say that I think about it, and it's not something that I.
You're
No.
just saying like an irregular
I'm just
instance,
saying,
somebody
I mean,
who
there,
acts-
you know, there's some people, they get on their cell phone and you don't want to listen to that. And sometimes you just want to say, eh, but not, I would never, ever do that. No,
Gotcha.
I don't have inappropriate thoughts about that kind of thing.
Great, okay. And so, have you ever felt driven to perform certain acts over and over again, such as excessive or ritualized washing, cleaning, or grooming? I think you've already answered that.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yes.
get me, I'm almost about ready to buy 2 vacuum cleaners, just so I can do it like
Okay.
that. Sorry.
Checking light switches, water faucets, the stove, door locks, or emergency brake?
No, I'm not worried about safety things as much. I mean, I'm a pretty safe guy. I was in the military, so, you know, pretty confident in that. So.
How about counting, arranging, or evening up behaviors, like making sure you have the exact same socks together?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, like.
So you're one of those people when you get the laundry together, you have to make sure each sock is.
Yeah, I have a
socks
hard
together.
time with that. I don't know what the sock gremlin does with that sock, but there's always a sock that comes up missing. I don't understand it. So.
How about, do you feel like you collect useless objects or end up inspecting the garbage before it's thrown out?
No, I gotta get rid of garbage as soon as. I don't even like to have a garbage can, honestly.
Okay.
It kind of bothers me.
Do you have, let's see, repeating routine actions like get in and out of the chair, going through the doorway? I feel like you actually already answered this by the vacuuming. So, is that correct?
Yeah, I would think so.
And the sink,
Yeah.
and even washing your hands. Yeah,
I mean,
those
I'm
kind
having a
of-
hard time. I really want to go wash my hands right now, just because.
Okay, is that because you shook my hand? It won't hurt my feelings. Is it when you touch other people, or is it just something you have
I
to do
wouldn't
every
say
once
it's
in a while?
touching other people. It's just touching things.
Anything? Okay. Do you have the need to touch objects or people?
No.
Unnecessary rereading or rewriting, reopening envelopes before they're mailed?
No.
Examining your body for signs of illness?
Oh, yeah. I'm kind of I wouldn't say I'm a hypochondriac because I mean, obviously, then we're opening up a whole nother can of worms. But I get concerned. You know, obviously, seeing somebody, you know, man, flesh and blood. You know, I do get concerned. I mean.
Do you do things such as avoid colors for any reason, numbers, or certain names because they're associated with dreaded events or unpleasant thoughts?
No.
Okay. Do you feel like you need to confess or repeatedly ask for reassurance that you said or did something correctly?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay.
I mean what I say and I say what I mean.
Okay. All right, Clark. Well, I'm really glad that you took this step to come in here today to speak with me, and I think that it is so great that you did. And I think that I have a few different ideas as to what might be helpful for you. I do want to meet with a couple of my colleagues since I am still working with things. I want to make sure that I give you the correct treatment associated with what you need. There are a number of things. We can do some cognitive behavioral therapy. We can do try to get you to face your fears and see if we can overcome that. I feel like this may all stem from the fact that you feel like you couldn't control what was happening with your daughter. Sounds like that's when these things started. Does that sound reasonable to you? Does that sound like that may be what is happening with you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I can understand that. I mean, there's just, like I said, I mean, spending all this time in hospitals and not being able to protect her from what happened. I mean, there's nothing you can do. And it's like, so yeah, I'm trying to take control of everything I possibly can. And everything's been so out of control, and I haven't been able to do anything. So taking control of the little tiny things that I possibly can in order to protect my other kids and the people that I love. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that this throughout, I think we'll start with, we'll meet next week. I'll give you a better idea of how long, what I think might be some good ideas. And of course, I want to know what you think may or may not help. But I do want to provide you with some homework. I would love for you to go home this week, and when you get time, when you think about, start some journaling and start writing down how you're feeling and what you're feeling when you are thinking of doing these things, of the vacuuming, of the washing your hands. What is going on in your head? What thoughts are going through your head? And we'll kind of go from there. I think you've given me a pretty good idea. I also think that there may be some more assessments we can take. There's several things we can do here, but I think that you have mild to moderate OCD, and it definitely is something that we can work together and we can try to figure out, and you can live with a lot less anxiety in these compulsions and obsessions, and hopefully it will help you to live a better life and feel better. And that's what I think, is that your goal in therapy? I think that's what you had mentioned to me on the phone. You just don't want to feel so obsessed, so stressed out. You want to feel that freedom.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just, taking control of the things that I need to take control of. And I don't feel like I'm in control of this anymore. I feel like it's kind of controlling me, and it's kind of controlling my life. So I am ready to, move on.
Great. Well, I look forward to spending some more time with you, and I will see you next week at 4 o'clock.
Yes,
Same
ma'am.
time, same place. Appreciate you coming in, and I can't wait to start.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You have a great week.
You too.